The most amazing thing about the Golden Rule is that it is everywhere. When we look across history, we find it everywhere. We find it in virtually every religion. We find it in cultural and ethnic groups across history. We find it in religious philosophers and non-religious philosophers. We find it in both, and this is another aspect of the Golden Rule. It isn't just religious. There's many non-religious people and non-religious organizations that believe and practice the Golden Rule. We find it in Aboriginal traditions.
Meet Paul McKenna, for the past 20 years the founding director of the Interfaith Department of Scarborough Missions. A pioneer 20 years ago, when a worldwide and now burgeoning interfaith movement was just beginning, Paul and his colleagues went looking for central teachings that world religions might have in common. That teaching is the Golden Rule, and Paul McKenna's research soon unearthed its amazingly central position in virtually all of the world's religions.
And this is why it is often referred to as the most universal moral principle in history. In other words, if you did a study of history, you would have difficulty finding an ethical or moral teaching that is more prevalent, more present across history. Now, just proof of this, a few years ago, I came across this book. It's 900 pages. On the Golden Rule, written by a philosopher in France. Took him 30 years to write it. And it contains 1,200 different expressions of the Golden Rule, from ancient and modern times, as well as mentioned, from religious and non-religious sources. So, this thing is...
McKenna's research soon turned into Scarborough Missions' now famous Golden Rule poster. First published in 2001, and now available throughout the world in numerous languages. The Golden Rule poster is also among the best possible encapsulations of what all people of faith have in common.
We have developed curriculum to go along with the poster, both for high school students as well as curriculum for adults on how to do Golden Rule workshops on different themes like peace or justice or health or whatever. And these are being used. Our Golden Rule website is very popular. At the Scarborough Missions Centre, there are regular Golden Rule retreats for high school students that are very dynamic. And the key here is that young people are really grasping the notion of the Golden Rule. The Golden Rule, to my mind, has three qualities, cardinal qualities: simplicity, universality, and power. And these qualities really help grab people. They make it easy for people to use the Golden Rule as an interfaith tool. We thought it would make a bit of a splash, but we could never have predicted its really stunning success.
The Golden Rule poster and its companion teaching tools have made Scarborough Missions a leader in the worldwide interfaith movement. Part of its ongoing work has been to popularize official Catholic Church teaching on interfaith issues.
One of the best kept secrets on the planet is that Catholics at all levels of the church are involved in interfaith dialogue, often in leadership roles, but nobody knows this. Through the Scarborough Mission magazine, through our work, through our seminars, through our writing, we try to make this available to ordinary Catholics.
I was thinking, within our own Catholic experience, there's a kind of a hesitation to get into interfaith dialogue. When we see it in a bigger, broader sense, it opens it up to realize that the primary agent in all of this is the Holy Spirit.
Mm-hmm. And the Holy Spirit is so creative and so dynamic and offers ways that we never could have imagined ourselves in terms of both the understanding of our own identity as Christians, as Catholics, and how we are enriched through our encounter with people of other faith communities.
That reminds me of a statement by John Paul II, and that captures what you're getting at. By dialogue, we let God be present in our midst. For as we open ourselves to one another, we open ourselves to God. For me, it's kind of a summary statement of the goal and thrust of interfaith dialogue.
I certainly would agree. For Paul McKenna, the interfaith journey has been one of profound discovery, both professional and personal.
The way I put it is that interfaith organizations and religions are cooperating on everything from soup kitchens to spirituality to social justice to scholarship and everything in between. There are now thousands of interfaith organizations. 60 years ago, there was a handful. It's almost as if interfaith dialogue is the umbrella under which everything is and will be eventually negotiated. My attraction to interfaith dialogue really comes down to the mystery of God and to the fact that somehow this work in dialogue with other religions and cultures somehow has to do with the fullness of God, the mystery of God.
But when you see that symbol in a Hindu or Buddhist deity, it doesn't mean stop. It means don't be afraid. And our Christian scriptures and Hebrew scriptures have lots of examples of people who came into the presence of God. And one of the first things that they're told is, don't be afraid. And so
there's an expression, I believe, from St. Ignatius, God is always the more. In the context of ecumenical and interfaith dialogue, God just gets bigger. God is always the more.